Good morning, all you fabulous people. We had a crazy weekend. We got a bunch of spoilers, especially for the Blitz decks for the Part the Mistveil collection box, as well as the Kayo armory deck came out. Just we'll get right at it. We'll start off with the Kayo armory deck because that seems to be the thing that's making the biggest splash. First off, $68 for the Kayo Armory deck is not worth it. These will be readily available. They are already being found in the wild at stores with multiple. If you need these right now for a ProQuest or a big event or whatever, I would shop around on the internet and put out a want to buy or ask around your locals or in your discords or whatever, and I think you can probably find them because I found one around $50 shipped, and that's just for my personal collection. I'm gonna keep it sealed because I really have no interest in playing Brute. But do not buy this Savage Sash at $40. It's the same price as the MSRP of the thing. Unless you just want the Savage Sash and absolutely need it, I don't think it will keep going down. And this KO Armory deck will keep going down. These Majestics and Rares will keep going down. What surprised me is I think Pulping's actually a pretty decent deal. I think the red Pulping regular is like $1 or so. So if you need some Pulpings, go ahead and pick those up. But nobody's selling them, so they may go. There's 2 listings there. So if you need these cards, try to find the sealed deck online privately, or go shop around at your locals. Good chance they probably have them, and if not, there's probably somebody that's willing to sell you one for $50 online. So just keep a lookout on that. KL also did get almost 600 points in this heavy hitter season so far. He is on the fast track to LL, so just keep that in mind as well. He is the best deck in the format, or won the most ProQuest by far. So just keep an eye out on this. He may LL soon. With that in mind, KO at nearly $192, and he is the front runner for best deck in the meta, as well as he is picking up so many points. I would wait on buying your Marvel unless you're playing with him in person at points and going to get a lot of use out of your Hero Marvel. If you're wanting it for collection, definitely wait. It will probably come down before the end of the year as he gets closer to LL or even LLs. So keep an eye out on that. Scalling Fleshbag went up about $5. I still think this is the best Brute headpiece, if not one of the top 5 headpieces in the game. Really can just shut down your opponent if you play it right. And $58 I think is still fair for this. What's the cold foil at? Cold foil's $80. Yeah. So just if you need a Scalling Fleshbag, I think you just bite the bullet at the rainbow foil. Kod of Blood, we mentioned it last Friday, and a couple were bought, or one was bought, the other one was removed or bumped up to higher pricing. So it's back up to $190 from its $200 to $130. So just keep an eye on this. I think it probably stays around here now. Maybe it'll slowly trickle down over time, but very rare card to pull. Shimmers of Silver, Everfest Majestic, that is just kind of bonkers and enigma. Went from $10 Friday to nearly $25. The rainbow foil, there's only one on the market at $55. I think the last few have sold at $35. I think this is probably a $20 to $30 card, unless Enigma is just the best deck to be. So I would hold off on buying the rainbow foils, especially. The non-foils, they probably come back down as well. There is a ton of these out in the world. These were just $2 to $3 a couple months ago. So just keep an eye, or $2 to $5, let's say. Keep an eye on that. There's a lot of them out in the world. You may even have someone in your binders or bulk from Everfest or whatever, so you may want to start digging through that. it's basically swing big value from Everfest. So if you find deals on Everfest now, I think it's becoming more and more profitable, not expected value for opening it if you can find it at a good deal. So just keep an eye out on that. Celestial Kimono, the Marvel is tricking up. It was, I think, about 80 last week. It's been a while. No, it's been held about 90, but there's only a couple left at under 100, and then it goes to 120. So keep an eye on these. These are pretty rare as well. And Enigma is definitely trying to do a ward aura-based thing based off of her spoilers this past weekend. So juggling ward, I think that's why she's going to be the first 5-star difficulty rating, like LSS had said. Phantom Timea also is increasing. This card just seems really nuts in Enigma in general. Whenever an illusionist card you control is destroyed, put a 1/+1 counter. So this is auras getting destroyed. This is Spectral Shields. No, never mind, not Spectral Shields. This is Phantasm Poppers, etc. As well as his ward and its Phantasm, but then it can attack. So I would keep on. This is basically, I think, in my opinion, a better Ghostly Touch, but just keep an eye. Tiger Stripe Shuko, the cold foil, I believe, was what I was trying to point out here. Nope. The rainbow foil is about $58. It's dropped a little bit, so just keep an eye on it. If you need a Tiger Stripe Shuko, I think this is going to be an auto include in Zen. Invoke Asal got bumped up to a few bucks. It was about $13 or $12, $15. Goodness, $12 to $14 this past week, and now it's up to $18. I would wait on this. It probably trickles back down again. There's nobody that can play these other than Dromai and LL and Blitz, and neither of which I don't think she's very good. Vanda Determination is slowly ticking up. I think this is also based off of Enigma as well as Prism usage to get less of the preventions. So off of the wards of the angels and these new auras and all of Enigma's other ward things. So $13 I think is still a good deal. There's quite a few on the market that is slowly trickling up. The cold foil is about $33. I would pick up the cold foil right now, especially this one, the $33, and then it goes to $38 and then $45. Just an unloved card at the moment. I think it's a generic legendary in a set that it was hard to pull legendaries and kind of undervalued and not open nearly as much. So I think if this does start to see play, it will probably be used in a good chunk of decks. So 33 for a generic cold foil is pretty solid. Flick Knives Rainbow Foil I think is a steal, especially after confirming Blossoming Mistblade, the new dagger for Enigma that if it hits it gives go again. So I think 25 to do, or 26 for a instant go again off of for a blue is really good. Go again is just really strong, as well as it helps you fire off a big turn. So I think this is a good deal as well. Ironside Pride, the extended arts are really hard to pull, and they trickled back down to about $20, $21. I think these are a pickup at this price. This is lower than its all-time low, or last year low, basically. So just below that. So I think these are a pickup at this price. Sonata Galaxy, $3 for this card, I think is being used in both Viserai and Vincent, and Viserai especially really likes this card. Viserai is becoming more and more popular into a lot of these grindy decks. He can either go his OTK kind of build and just kind of outvalue you over a long game, and the rune chance just just murder you over time if you can't just kill them fast enough, which a lot of these decks are just taking their time. So look out for that. I think $3 is a pretty good price for Heavy Hitters expansion slot as well. Concealed Blade. We still know that a lot of our new Mystic heroes want to use a bunch of blues. Concealed Blade seems a 2-for-1 here. It's really good for Assassin and Ninja. Mainly of the daggers, so I think it leans towards the Assassin. But this is also synergizes well with Flick Knives. So if you flick your Blossoming Mistblade, and then you can get it back or equip another dagger for this, I think it's really good. It's a blue, it's a block 3, it's a 0 cost. Kind of checks off a lot of boxes here. $11 is about where it's been in the past, so I still think this is a good deal. It may go up in the future here. Quite a few at under $13, so just keep an eye on it. Winds of Eternity, I think this is a really good steal. It is moderately played though. It's an EA. These are also really rare from Everfest. These are always about $30. So there's basically a $12 discount if you want to take the risk for a EA Winds of Eternity. We are getting more combo support into Mistveil, so there's a chance Katsu becomes better as well. So I think the Winds line is one of the better lines of ninjas, especially for combos. So this might worth be taking a risk to fill it out or fill out your collection. Maraging Metamorph, I think this card is just stupidly undervalued after the announcements this weekend. There was so many auras announced this past weekend for Enigma that this card has not moved that much. There's still a ton on the market at under $15, which 10 to 15 is where it normally settles anyway. This card is one of the best illusionist cards you can get. It kind of gives your opponent an ultimatum. It's a 1-for-7, or you pop it. You either block it out without poppers, or you pop it and you get a copy of one of your auras, which is really good, especially when you're attacking with your auras, as well as getting additional value out of the auras. I think this card is one of the cards being slept on at the moment. I think it's still a really good pickup at $14. Blasphemous, after the Levia announcements, this rainbow foil is only gone down. If you want to bling out your Levia, I think $13 to $15 for a rainbow foil Blasphemous that you probably use is a fun little addition. Especially since the cold foil is like over $100 right now off a few sales. So keep your eye on this. Hazebending, I think, is also being kind of slept on after these huge, all these aura announcements over the past weekend. And especially when Enigma has a bunch of Spectral Shield synergies, this just seems like an auto 3 of in Enigma at the moment. Whenever Hazebending or another illusionist token or non-token aura you control is destroyed, create a Spectral Shield token. So this is really good, and it's been about the same price since pre-release announcements at about $23. There's quite a few here under $25. I don't see how this card doesn't make it into Enigma at this moment, but there's still a lot to be revealed, so maybe down the road this just gets cycled out of just better cards, but we shall see. Spectral Possession, also with more Spectral Shield and Aura announcements this past weekend. I think this is also a pretty good pickup for a playset of $3, just to keep your eye on this. I've kind of had my eye on this card since they announced a blue and illusionist in general and kind of the moon aspect, but this card seems pretty good. If you can get more than, let's call it, 4 Spectral Shields, it quickly becomes outvalued, as well as it's a block 3. So I think this card is pretty well being slept on as well. There's a few being bought, but one of the this card was considered bulk for a while, and still is considered bulk, probably at $1. So keep your eye on that. Crown of Providence Rainbow Foil is too cheap. End of story. $77 for a Rainbow Foil. The non-foil from Dusk Till Dawn still about, I think it's like 85, so it's lagging behind this. There's just not a lot selling. There's people probably already have their Crown of Providence. 1, 2, a lot of the cards being used are more closer to, or all of the decks are using Balance of Justice instead more often. I do think Crown of Providence is still a really good card, and when there's less draw in the meta, this card will go back up again, unless there's something else to replace it, or a class specific that for each situation changes. The cold foil, I didn't look at this before we get 180. I think this is a bit too high at the moment, compared to where the rainbow foil is at. So I would pick up your rainbow foils if you need them. Flamescale Furnace rainbow foil is also too cheap. This is still being used in Fi, even though he's not very prevalent in the meta. This is also being used in Emperor, as Emperor has to have it, and it's very good in Emperor. The only reason it's going down is because Dromai LL'd. So if you like Draconic and want to play it in the future, $45 for this I think is a good pickup. What's the cold foil at? 112. I would be sub 100 for the cold foil if you want to pick it up, but it's continuing to trickle down, and it's still it is the best chess piece for Draconic typically. The only thing that competes with it is Tunic. Tiger Swipe, after the reveals of this past weekend, I still think is too cheap, or I still think it's going to be used in Zen pretty well. A lot of Crouching Tiger synergy, a lot less combo synergy in this. So this is a great card that you can tutor. So I think still $15 for a playset is probably pretty good for one of the better Tiger cards from Dynasty. It's hard to imagine this card doesn't see play as a 0-cost block 3 and potentially a chain ender as well as just a game ender. So that's it for today. Hope you guys all have a fantastic Tuesday. We still have Fyendal's collection subscription sponsorship. Code JCH at checkout for a free month of premium. Just check it out in general. It's a very good collection tracker, as well as helps keep track of some of these moving cards, and helps me kind of do these videos as well as sell into some of these spikes and droughts and pick up cards that I would have missed. Thank you all for your 222 subs. Appreciate all the support and the watches and the comments and everything. If you have any kind of suggestions on how to improve, or cards I'm missing or whatever, always feel free to comment. I love talking with you guys. Have a fantastic Tuesday. Bye.